Hello, so in today's video, we are going to talk about owning your response and owning your game. You get to choose how you respond to the situations and circumstances you find yourself in. You don't get to generally choose the situations and circumstances you find yourself in. And athletes that really truly understand this and understand that it is their attitude and their attitude of being able to choose their response to everything that happens is what really separates them from the rest. Instead of getting hooked and focusing in on what you cannot control and focusing in on the things that you have little ability to do anything about, is really going to, as I said, make the difference. And so that's what we're going to look at today. And how do you work on that ability to choose your response and to really build that attitude that's going to really help you and separate yourself from the rest. Number one is reframing. And reframing challenges as roadblocks to simply opportunities to learn and to grow. That is really going to be the key. That reframing and that ability to see things as opportunities to learn and to grow is what's going to really be able to separate you and help you reinforce this attitude of you get to choose your response. You get to choose how you see the situation, and you get to choose, do you see it as a roadblock? Do you see it as something that is unfair? Or do you see it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become better? And how are you going to use that situation to learn, to grow, and to become better? That is the difference. Athletes that are great, they focus on improvement, and they see every situation, every moment as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to constantly improve. And that is something that helps to separate them from the rest and make them great. Reframing is about shifting your perspective, and your ability to shift your perspective, both kind of big picture in nature, but as well as in that moment, in the middle of the game, is a critical skill set. To be able to see something in the middle of a game, in the middle of a competition that maybe didn't go according to plan or didn't go the way that you had wanted to, and to be able to reframe it, shift your perspective, and to see it as an opportunity is huge. And if you can work on doing that, it's going to really, as I said, help to elevate your performance and really help you to have this attitude that you get to choose how you respond. Number two is to practice gratitude daily. This is so important. When you practice gratitude and really practice it, and I'm not just saying writing things down or kind of going through the motions of doing it, but really feeling that feeling of appreciation and really feeling gratitude for the things that you are focusing on, that you are grateful for, is actually going to help you become more optimistic and more resilient, to be more resilient when you do face challenges and obstacles. And that's going to help you be able to choose how you respond, because when you are more optimistic, it's easier for you to reframe things. It's easier for you to be able to see things in a different light. And so being able to practice gratitude is huge. And I think a lot of people talk about practicing gratitude. Gratitude is about helping you to be more in the now and to appreciate what you have in the now. I think in the world of sports and the world in general, it's always about more. And in order to be able to really choose how we want to be able to respond, we have to focus on the now, because that really truly is all that we can focus on and control, is how do we choose to respond in this moment. And practicing gratitude is really going to help, as I said, give you that practice of being more present, more with what you have, and not always focusing on what's going to happen down the road, which you cannot fully control. And so really take that time to practice gratitude on a daily basis. As I said, it's going to make you a more optimistic and resilient person. And optimism is huge for performance. When we look at some of the best athletes in the world, they are very optimistic. They are real at the same time. They know there are going to be challenges they're going to face. Things are not going to go according to plan. And they do make plans for that and figure out what action steps and what can I control within these different situations. And obviously, they really drive their focus into how are they going to respond, but they are optimistic at the same time and know that their energy and effort is going to get them moving towards where they want to, but at the same time are going to have to deal with things and are going to need to figure out how to respond to different situations as they do arise. And then number three is really accepting and acknowledging some of those other, feelings that are going to come up in the journey. You're going to have frustration, maybe some anger, maybe some disappointment. Situations are not really always going to go according to plan or in the way that you would like to. And we're talking about your ability to be able to respond to these things. But what's going to come along with that at times is you may be frustrated and disappointed with the situation that you do find yourself in, but you can't be consumed by it. You have to learn to embrace it and to acknowledge, I'm frustrated in this moment, but not to feed it, and at the same time not to fight it, to just say, okay, I'm frustrated, but what can I do in this moment? How do I want to respond in this moment? And what can I control in this moment? What's my action step that I can do to choose my response in this moment? And if you channel your energy in that way, you can hold both sides. You can hold a little bit of that frustration that may exist, but at the same time really channeling your energy and channeling your focus into the thing you can control, into the action you can control, and ultimately how are you going to respond to where you find yourself. This one one is definitely a hard one, I think, for a lot of athletes. I've worked with a lot of athletes, and when you're in athletics, there's a lot of things you can't control, and other people are making decisions that ultimately will impact you, from playing time to when I've worked with professional athletes, whether they're in the top club in the NHL or down in the... And how do you deal with that? And it is so easy to get consumed with that frustration and to just put all that energy and all that focus in on the people who have made the decisions that have put you in the situation that you find yourself in. And I had one of my hockey players in that situation where they got brought down from the NHL down to the AHL, and we had to kind of walk through this and help him to understand that by putting all that energy into the things he can't control and into other people's decisions that landed him where he was in terms of his season and the situation, he might have robbed himself of another team ending up wanting to trade for him or get him at some point in the future, because his on-ice performance was starting to suffer. He wasn't giving his best on the ice, and so we had to redirect and reframe everything to help him be able to start to focus in on what's going to allow him to now go out there and really perform at his very best on a night basis, so that another team sees him performing at a high level and then maybe wants him. And he was able to make that shift, and when he was able to make that shift, lo and behold, he was grabbed by another team. Another team ended up wanting him and getting him, and he ended up going on and getting back up to the NHL and winning multiple championships. So it's one of these things where it is hard to do, but it's so important in how you manage that frustration, and how do you reframe things, and how do you direct your energy and your focus to the thing that you can control to help you put yourself in the best position to continue on your path and on your journey.